Welcome, guys.
Hello. Well, thank you very much. I'm mixing Arabic and English.
Ahlan, welcome, guys, to Dardish podcast, the Dardish show. I have one of the pioneers when it comes to the coffee industry in Kuwait. Ahlan wa sahlan. Two brothers, two hustlers, two entrepreneurs, Ali and Mohammed. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Dardish show, a place to sit back, relax, and enjoy a good conversation.
معكم محمد الحسن. طبعا came back to Kuwait about 5 years ago. كنت دارس في أمريكا and ever since I moved back كنا قاعد ندور something to do, a business, not knowing what. Me and Ali kept brainstorming for years. We tried to get into a couple of businesses. It didn't really work out until we came across Somos. Somos is south of Barkia. It's يعني كان مكان that's part of the oldest souk in Kuwait, أقدم سوق بالكويت, which we really loved, especially coming back from San Francisco, coming back from a city. Now we came to appreciate this old vintage souk. فلما علي قال لي عن a place that's developing, that's when we got excited. We got a place. And then the coffee journey started. Yeah.
So how long was that? Was that like 5 years ago? 5 years ago?
That was
in 2014 that we first saw the area called Somo, and then 2015 March is when we actually opened Caffeine.
I love the name.
Yeah.
I was surprised nobody took that name or used it.
There's a whole story behind that too.
Tell me, what's the story behind the name?
So let me share that. Okay,
All right, go for it.
I'll introduce myself, Ali AlHasan, and my background is engineering. But after college, I also went to the US. During the time that I was working, Mohammed was still in high school, actually even before high school, I think. And my mom kept sending him to spend the summer and learn English and things like that. So I was stuck with a teenager, but that's how we got closer. And so Mohammed, after school, he actually stayed a year, or I think a year and a half, worked in the US. But I've been working there for 14 years after college. And we just came back to Kuwait. I came in 2012, and Mohammed, I think...
2012.
Also, yeah. Okay. And so right away we started a company. I think even before that, 2011, we started a software company, which is booming right now. It's called Business Intelligence Systems.
Wow.
But it wasn't a fast start. So in 2014, when we first saw this area called Somo, I was just infatuated because I love Barkia. Me and one of my best friends, Allah يذكره بخير, Mohammed, we always go and we hang out at these really old cafes. قهوة الدلال, that's out of the oldest cafe in Kuwait. You order like a jug of tea for like ربع دينار.
What?
Yes, it's amazing. So, and there's all these old men just gossiping and stuff like that. So you don't see any female. Now you do. So at that, I remember it was in August or September of 2014, and Mohammed was like, not my brother, but my one of my best friends, Mohammed. He's like, I gotta take you to this new area. It's brand new, and I don't know. As soon as I walked in, I felt. I came in, and there's, I don't know if you, I'm sure you've seen it. There's used to these painting on the wall, like white, huge wall that has a guy throwing a bouquet of flowers, and it said, Habbi Chekwit. And just like in red, that's it. White over red. And it's very simple, minimalistic, and artistic. And so when I walked in, that area reminded me of San Francisco right away. So it's really small boutiques. I never seen a place. I'm scared. There's like animals like fighting in the other.
Should I let my cats out? Sorry, guys. They'll seem like a human behind that door.
Initially, I thought, who are you hiding in the other room? And then I realized it's
It's in the other room, Ali. They're in the other room.
Okay, so where was I?
Are they in the other room?
No, you let them out now. Wow, pretty. Okay, so it reminded me of San Francisco and these small boutiques. And at that time, and I think still right now, we don't have a downtown in Kuwait. We don't have a place. There's a place in San Francisco called the French Alley, where restaurants are right on the street, and that reminded me of that area. But at the time, there's only a couple of shops that are open. And so 2 days later, I told Mohammed, hey, you should go check out this area. Not thinking we're going to actually open there. So Mohammed also, he loved it. Mohammed, he loved it. He's like, let's open a place. I'm like, nah, let's not do it right now. It's too early. By the way, this is the cat jumping on my lap. It's too early. And he's like, let's wait, and maybe this area will, if it's growing, then we can. He's like, no, we should do it right now. And so actually, Mohammed was pushing to start. But the thing is, we didn't know what we're going to open. We wanted a shop, and khuluwat. You know what khulu is? Like, you have to put a key money. I think it was like 35,000, 30 or 30,000 KD just to get the place, and not knowing what you're going to open. So
and you wouldn't know the area is it going to pick up or not. At that time, it was dead.
I bet. I mean, you guys started before Kuwait City was the place to be, you know? Like, now Kuwait City is the place for coffee shops, hanging out, and all those people. And you guys did this before that was even happening.
Yeah, that was not available then. So it took us, actually, the shop that you see right now is not the shop that we put our khulu in. Yes, we got a different one.
No way.
In the Somos area, but it's less than half of the size. And this is the thing is, in business, sometimes we had another partner that pulled out. So it was just me and Mohammed. Now we had that, and we had this. And the thing is, we were going to get that shop, and all of a sudden, 1 hour before we were supposed to sign the deal, they raised the rent like over 50%. And they're like, either you come and sign, or you lose your deposit.
What?
Which is like 3,000 KD. And for us just starting, we're taking loans and things like that. That's a big amount.
So we kind of felt...
Still a lot of money.
So we felt like we were just stuck in a corner. They
did stuck in a corner. I hated it. So what happened is, but during that month, there's a month period that we started. We put the deposit, and then during that month is when we did our brainstorming, and we had a lot of wild ideas. And Mohammed was like, you know what? We both like Blue Bottle coffee in San Francisco. What if we do? Bottle. There's that's our one of our favorite spots. It's called Blue Bottle. If you ever go to the U.S., check it out. So he's like, why don't we open a specialty coffee? None of us have seen an espresso machine before.
Really? You guys weren't into coffee?
We like coffee, but we don't know how to make it. We don't know the science, where to start. But we just we wanted to do something that was fun.
Yeah.
That we wanted to do together, and that's how it started. So I'm sorry this took a little long round, but I want to go back to the story about the name of Caffeine. So actually, that was not our first name.
What?
Yeah. So we had a different name. Because we're going to do specialty, and we're going to do it in Barkia, we wanted to do... we wanted, from the beginning, caffeine, like the words that we have, we use Arabic or Kuwaiti, old language and things like that. Since we were going to be in Barkia, we wanted to have something that mixes the East and the West together. We wanted to have the influence of Mubarakia in our shop and everything what we do.
Makes sense.
So we had a different name. So when we went in, I went to register the name, but Caffeine was one of the names. So we had I think the second name or something like that. So I went in, and the name that we wanted was already taken. I think 2 of them were taken.
What was the first name you guys wanted? Oh, it's taken. So they're actually it's a shop, right?
It's a shop. Yeah. So, but it was a shisha place. It's not a specialty coffee.
Okay.
But anyway, so so I told the lady, okay, so let's do Caffeine, and she's like, caffeine, cafe. No, we can't do that. It's the same thing. You can't use that. And I'm like, okay, well, who do I talk to? He's like, Kalmi, Ra'is al-Qasm. So I went to this lady, and she's like, Caffeine. And she just saw the other lady disapprove. It's like, no, we can't do it. But if you want to talk to my manager, you can talk to him. So I talked to the manager, like, we want to name this caffeine. He's like, no, this is a drug. This is like يعني شيء مخدر, مادة مخدرة, like a drug. He said, I'm like, dude, it's in coffee and tea. He's like, you're gonna tell me anything to get this name. I'm not gonna sign this deal. But if you want, you can talk to the general manager, which is the مجمع الوزارات. Like, I went to this huge office and I went to this guy and like, you know, these guys are giving us a hard time about a name. You know, they wouldn't. He's like, what's the name? I'm like, it's caffeine. He's like, isn't that in coffee and tea? I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, as long as it's not hash, I will sign it for you.
Oh my.
And that was the beginning of caffeine.
There was a guy with a name called Hash before them. That's why they rejected. Nice. What a beautiful story. I bet a lot of people didn't even know this story. No. Wow, that's amazing, man. So how was the first year after you guys launched? In terms of branding, because I see that Caffeine is not just a coffee shop, it's a community. You know, like the people that go there, the events that you guys create, it's somewhat of a family. Don't you guys agree? What do you guys think?
True. It's very much like a community. It's a family. And talking about branding, the brand just kind of evolved as we went on. We actually opened without a logo. We didn't have a logo registered. Maybe 5 months in is when we actually locked in a logo and decided, okay, that's what we're gonna go with. Wow. So we went super organic. You know, we had just plain white,
super passion. Super passion.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we had just plain white cups to start with no logo, nothing. The focus was just how to bring people in and how to give the best cup of coffee possible, just to take people away from commercial into specialty.
Take away from people.
So, and another thing that we wanted to do, like I told you, one thing, we want it to be fun. So you don't want it to be a work.
Yeah.
Okay, that's coming in a bit. I'll share about that. But we want it to be fun, and then whatever we offer, we want it to be things that we normally eat, that we like to eat.
So things that align with your values.
With our values. So for example, a lot of times people, they choose the cheapest products or the cheapest material and things like that to offer, and they have a restaurant and they eat at a different place. We want it to be a place where we actually like our food. We're both health conscious, so if I'm going to mess up, I'm going to eat something sweet. If it's not good, I'm going to actually throw, like I've done this, I spit it out. So it has to be something, if I'm going to mess up, it's got to be something worth it. So that's one of the things that we did. We were talking about something else. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about the first year and the branding and how you guys literally just served them in white cups of coffee, and then the brand started to evolve.
Yeah, so about it being a family and things like that, it was a family. So there were, at the beginning, actually I went to take Mohammed registered for all these classes in London, so we can go and learn like how to make coffee, like what do they call them? I don't even remember the classes.
I took, because we were going to open in 5 months, so I decided, hey, if we're going to do specialty, we better do it right. And we need to take all the classes that we can in the time period that we had. So in 2 weeks, I registered for about 2,000 euros worth of classes.
And then they wouldn't let Mohammed in London at that time. It was too short. So I went. Maybe it's because of his picture with his big beard. So they rejected him entry into, can you believe that?
I just want to learn how to make coffee.
So I went in, and then we came, and it was me, Mohammed, and my cousin, Hawra.
So 3 of you guys went together?
No, we, I went by myself, but when we came back, it's 3 of us that started.
Okay.
So we didn't have staff. We didn't have anything. It was just us.
Wow.
And both of us had jobs. So what we did is, at the beginning, we opened the store at 3 p.m. until 10. And so right after work, we will come in, and then that's how we start. But it was very soon, I think in a couple of months, I can't remember the date, but very soon we changed. We started opening morning and afternoon, like morning, and then we closed. And then all of a sudden, we just did it the whole day.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in that area. Even today, that is open at 7 a.m. So we're the only one that open every day, 7 a.m. till 11.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So you started with working your full-time job, leaving your full-time job, going to your business until 10, closing, going back home and sleeping.
I'm still working. Mohammed, that year when we first started, he had, my work is a little bit more lax, so I can come in and out. But Mohammed, I think he had 60 days of sick leave. So either he left or they're going to
fire him.
Sick him.
Oh my God.
So actually he left after the first year, I believe.
After 1 year.
After 1 year, he became full-time. And then my sister Anwar, she joined in as well. And she's also full-time. And now Hawra is full-time. So we have a bunch of people that are...
so it's literally your family.
Absolutely, at the beginning. Yeah,
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So let's talk about the business model. I mean, you guys maybe have a different business model, because I saw you took me once to the back end of the shop and the back room, and you showed me how you guys roast your coffee and make it yourself. Can you just share a little bit about that for those who love coffee?
Yes, sure. So the first year or year and a half, we didn't roast any of our coffee. Just brewing was too overwhelming for me. I wanted to get it completely right and on spot. So we used to I used to fly every 2 weeks to Dubai to get 60 kilos of coffee.
Wow.
And come back just to make sure it's specialty grade, just to make sure it's roasted fresh. About a year and a half in is when we decided to get a roasting machine, and then that was another journey of learning now how to roast the perfect cup of coffee. So yeah, then we went to roasting, and we started going to farms, getting green beans, importing. And
green beans. A lot of people don't know that coffee is actually green.
Yes, it's actually a cherry, and it's the هي البذرة اللي داخل inside the cherry, so it's dried, the seed inside.
Wow. So it's a lot of labor to actually get that seed, right?
To get that high grade seed, you can go to souk and buy green coffee, but it's very low grade. It's not specialty grade. So to actually understand the difference and pay that premium to get these seeds is what makes a lot of difference.
I want to share a story about so now it's easier. So if you're going to open a cafe, there is a lot of there's more roasters in Kuwait now that you can get local supplies and stuff like that. But at the beginning, it was difficult. We would go in on a day trip. We would go in the morning, you load up, and then now the coffee roasters, they will meet us at the airport with their bags of coffee or boxes. And every time I go, like it would be one time Mohammed, one time me, and I think more Mohammed. But every time I go, Mohammed's like, yeah, just can you carry a little bit in your bag, like carry on. And I would have like 20 or 30 kilos just to carry, and I'm just like worried about going through security. I'm serious. I hate carrying stuff. So I want to share this one part. I was coaching at the time. I was coaching Kuwait national team for diving. So we had a competition or a training camp in Bulgaria. And so what I did is I flew after the team, and I went through Dubai. My whole trip was on like 5 days. We had a competition over there, like a training and competition. I'm coming back. Like, you know what? Let me just do a coffee
stack up.
Yeah, like get some coffee. So when I come back, I'm not going back to Dubai. I'm coming back straight to Kuwait with the team. And so I went to Dubai, got out of the security, and the coffee people, they met me, gave me my coffee, and I put it in my bag.
Sounds like a drug deal.
Yeah. So then not thinking, I went to Bulgaria. So there's these signs that says like you have items to declare and not to declare. I don't have anything to declare. And so I go in and they stop me. Like, what are you bringing? And I go, it's just coffee. It's like, I don't know how much, like maybe 3,000, like over 1,000 KD worth of coffee, like over $3,000 worth of coffee. He's like, no, you're selling it here without a permit. I'm like, no,
it's for personal use.
Exactly what I told them. They wouldn't believe it. I said, no, this is, look, I'm just here for, like, I showed them my return flight, and I was like there for an hour trying to negotiate. Like, okay, you know what? I'm not selling here. Leave it with you. in 5 days, I'm going to leave. I'll take it back.
Yes.
And they're like, no. Okay, just take it. We almost lost that. That was a big time for us. Yeah. So we had to go through hell.
Did they question you in terms of did they check the coffee? Did they open the bags, or it was smooth?
No, they just saw it and they knew it was coffee, but it was a big amount, and nobody comes with their personal stash that much. You probably have a half a kilo or a kilo.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Many times at the airport here in Kuwait, they stopped and checked, and we had to call someone to just let us.
So did you guys always do it that way? Like just literally bring it with you, and then you started?
Yeah, that's the beginning. And our favorite thing, everybody that was going to Dubai, they would call us. So we would like have a network of anybody. Oh, can you take a few kilos here, a few kilos? I'm serious.
See, guys, that's hustling. That's starting from the bottom. You guys did it. Wallah, guys, that's amazing. I love hearing these stories. I want to talk about, are you guys addicted to coffee? Like, you guys have to have these taste buds and experience to coffee. So can you talk about like addiction and...
So, okay. So when we first started, I'll talk about myself, and I remember we go to a lot of cafes, especially when I travel. I go to a lot of cafes. And when you go to a cafe, you're going to try. You have to try. I usually try 3 things: one just brewed, one with milk, and one cold. So 3 cups of coffee per cafe. So I remember that by mid-morning, I felt dizzy.
Wow!
I'm serious. Like I almost got sick. So much. Coffee. But now, even also when we started, Mohammed's like, hey, try this mix. And I was try this mix. And so the first couple of months, at night, my hands were shaking. I don't know. Do you have that too?
I would just have so much coffee, I would crash. I would get so hyper, and then I would just crash. You know? So,
wow.
I'd say we kind of got really hooked on caffeine. We were obsessed just to try different recipes, to make the best cup. So it wasn't very comfortable. I even had stomach problems.
Wow.
So now we cut back.
Now احترمنا نفسنا شوية. Now I would have like 1 or 2 cups a day. And for me personally, I don't do cups later in the afternoon anymore.
Yeah, I remember you made me once a cup of coffee in your house, and he makes it with love. Like the amount of love and passion he makes for a cup of coffee. You know, I didn't really know much about coffee, but I really appreciated that coffee, you know, like even though I can't tell the difference, for example, between different strains of coffee. Is that what you call it? Different strains?
It's different
varieties. Yeah.
So
nice.
Who was really deep in, like really took a notch, or actually several notch up, is Mohammed. He is amazing when it comes to coffee and tasting. And so he won't talk about this himself, so I'll talk about it. So in the coffee world, to open a roastery, it's a different business. So we don't want to rush into that. So that takes a lot of experience, and you have to really know your stuff. And there's a lot of different classes that you have to go to reach different levels where you get to be a person that could
grade.
You can grade coffee. You can see what is that score. These are the world level, and to get that, there's like 20 some tests to achieve it.
Wow.
And they call them Q graders, and Mohammed is the first Q grader in Kuwait. He is so good that I'm not that good. So he's so good that he can drink a coffee, and a lot of times he will tell you, Eid, this is from Ethiopia, from this farm.
What?
Yes.
We should put that to a test, guys. Wow, that's amazing.
Characteristics of each coffee, you know, So with experience, with trying a lot of different coffees, a lot of different farms, you kind of get the notes of and attributes of each origin and area.
What's your favorite coffee?
My favorite would be African coffees. I like Ethiopians. I like right now I'm really in love with Ugandan coffees. These are my favorite at the moment. Yeah,
that's amazing. Let's talk about the coffee scene in Kuwait and the entrepreneurs and the businesses in Kuwait. I mean, do they come and talk to you? Do you guys have friends that have coffee businesses? Because I really want to focus on the coffee scene, not just the F&B, because this is you guys' specialty. So what do you guys think of the movement that's happening? Because I know a lot of coffee shops that are killing it, And I know a lot of coffee shops that are suffering and failing and closing every day. So talk about the hypes that happen in certain coffee shops and then die, and how to sustain certain hypes in creating a community.
You want to go?
Sure. Well, we honestly didn't expect this movement in coffee. I remember me and Ali talking about competition and potential coffee shops opening, and we projected around, I'd say 20 to 30, and now they went over 200.
Wow.
So I just say we were happy we're able to inspire so many people, but it's getting tougher and tougher.
For you guys or for them?
For everyone.
For everyone.
For us, for them. It's really healthy, and it keeps us on our toes. So we're always developing. We're always trying to differentiate. We're always trying to lead and be ahead. To just go and do a copycat cafe doesn't work anymore. You have to do something different. So for anyone that's currently opening or planning to open a coffee business, always think, what are you going to offer that's different?
Why shall they come to your place?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love when you said that it's healthy. Competition is healthy because it keeps us on our ground and it keeps us learning. That's a huge tip, honestly. I really agree with that. What do you think of that, Ali?
So, yeah, we had no idea it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
But in any field, whether it's sodas, burgers, you name it, when it first starts, there's a flood of people going for that gold rush. We didn't know we started that. But then there's a flood of people that are going for that. So, and that's healthy competition. But the thing is, you have to know is the cool thing for us that we're thinking about is within a couple of years, or maybe like even right now, if we talk 2 years or 3 years from now, it might be a really good time to open a cafe.
Wow.
Because right now, a lot of the strongest will make it. And a lot of people will get out of business. So you can get a lot of equipment for cheaper when you open a shop.
Wow.
So with now, why is it boom? I think there's a lot of things that happen, like the perfect storm. A lot of things happen together. In Kuwait, there's a huge liberal movement. There's a lot, like there's more art, there's more food, there's more music, creativity, podcasts than ever before. I never seen that before. And the youth, they don't have a place to meet. They don't have a place to mingle. And cafe became that place for people where they can come, mix, meet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that
100%.
became like a part of a cultural movement. And now, from the beginning, I shared this in one of my YouTube channels. You probably see it, but I'll talk about it again. From the beginning, when we started, we wanted to do something different. Even though there's nobody doing that, we wanted to do something special. We wanted something unique. We wanted our experience to be a special experience. So if you know, like we had, and it wasn't a fast start. We were like for 6 months, we were just almost breaking even. Some months we would pay money, some months. When we started, we wanted to use Kuwaiti. We want to have a Kuwaiti influence. And this came into our recipes. It came into our naming of our drinks. It came into the decoration of the place. So that was the important part. So even when a lot of cafes started opening up, and we also, like some of our top baristas were recruited, and they're heavily recruited, even today, by other cafes. One thing that I discussed with Mohammed, and it's stressful, it's not easy, like especially at the beginning, but people can steal your idea, they can steal your product, they can steal your staff, but they cannot steal you. They cannot copy Mohammed, they cannot copy Eid, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that, like I was just actually a couple of weeks ago, I was with a cousin, and he's like, how do you feel about all these people that are just copy your idea and then just go one after the other? It doesn't bother me, actually. you're bothered if you don't have the creativity to come up with new stuff. Looking back, you learn actually on the job a lot more. Like a lot of stuff, even though they teach it to you, it doesn't register because you don't have any frame of reference. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's Ali's version of the story.
Okay, tell us.
All right, so I booked all these classes, 2 weeks of just intense courses for coffee because we had no idea what specialty coffee is. I didn't know what a good espresso or a latte should taste like. That was the whole point, to go there and learn. I couldn't get my visa. Ali went. 2 weeks later, he's back. And I remember at the time I had to drive 18 hours to pick up our espresso machine from Dubai. So I had the espresso machine in the basement. Ali came with his notebook. I'm like, Yalla, Ali, teach me. I swear to God, he spent like 30 minutes. Muhammad, okay, you have to have this much gram in, this much out. The second, he's gone.
He left.
Ali, شو السالفة؟ علمنا, يعني literally
30 minutes.
And we're opening and I projected in a month. I wanted to open in a month time. So
Wow.
So YouTube was a big
Wow.
the TDS they talked about something about TDS,
Yeah, I mean, you can it's not just information, so I had to just do it. Get your hands dirty.
We had to really after we opened, I learned a lot, and then we flew again to different. I just kept going to different places to keep learning, actually. So,
and in terms of your business model, is it still, because having roasting coffee and selling coffee to customers are two completely different things, is it? Or can you have a roaster and not sell to B2B? Are you guys doing B2B or are you doing B2C or both? And can you just talk about the business model a little bit?
So initially it started with just coffee and sweets. Mm-hmm. My mom's sweets. So it's all central kitchen at home. That we supply to our place. And that's it. About a year later, we introduced food. So we opened a kitchen in Somos in Caffeine. So now we have like another source, which is the food. It was another year, I think, later after that is when we opened Shweikh and we started roasting. So that's a completely different model. So that's a B2B, but it also supplies to our cafes. And now we have other cafes that we supply to. Recently, I can't remember, like the last 6 months to a year ago, we started also another part, which is we train cafes now. So we do, Mohammed is certified trainer, so he does training for baristas and things like that.
And that goes very well with the B2B, because many cafes, they'll come, they'll buy the beans, and then they don't know what to do with it.
Nice.
So that training that we got in London, now we actually can offer with those certificates in Kuwait. So we started the school in Kuwait City, and we do that at the moment. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's an upsell basically. So you guys have, I was talking about this today, like a value ladder. So first they come in and get the coffee or something, and then you sell them something in the back end, which is more services and products that you have. I wanted to talk about something in Kuwait City that we were just talking about. Tell me more about the training and how's that growing? Because I think that's a genius idea, especially for people who just want to start a coffee shop. Oh, the restroom, yes, to the right. So tell me more about that. Look at the branding, guys. Look, he's got caffeine on his shirt. So how's the training? Do you have like an official course or do you do consulting?
I haven't done much consulting. What we do is certified training. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people have been asking for training like 2 years ago. They want coffee training. I didn't want to do just any training without a certificate. So I waited until I became certified to do classes. And the last 5 months, I actually was bringing in instructors from abroad to do classes, certified instructors.
Wow, nice.
Until I got my certificates. And we also opened the door for other Kuwaitis that have like this certificate to be like an AST, authorized trainer, to give classes in our facility. So I'm inviting other Kuwaitis, other instructors to just come and teach at our school.
That's amazing. In our school. So it's turning into a coffee school.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's so many things that go into like a coffee school. It's not just learning how to roast or learning how to create a nice espresso or latte. So can you just break down a little bit when it comes to maybe 3 or 4 segments in teaching in your school?
Well, it's part of the Specialty Coffee Association, so SCA, Specialty Coffee Association, and they have a set kind of breakdown of courses. Currently, they offer 5 modules. So we offer green beans, roasting, sensory, brewing, and barista. And each one of them is broken down into 3 categories: foundation, intermediate, and professional.
Okay, and in Kuwait, do they usually focus in terms of training on the last segment, which is barista? And is it for everyone to take all of these, or like, for example, if I have a coffee shop, do I need to take all of my staff to go through these entire 5 modules?
No. It's just because each one of these modules, like, for example, the green, that's a business by itself. Roasting, that's a business by itself. And the barista, that's also a different area. So people will only take the classes they need for their business. So we have roasters that took roasting classes. We had people that just wanted to develop their sensory, so they took the sensory module. And most of our courses are catered around the barista and the brewing for people that just want to brew at home, or they need to train their staff at the cafe.
That's amazing, man. And in terms of entrepreneurship, Ali, I mean, you have been in this space for a while. You had a YouTube channel, or you still do. And tell me more about your journey and what maybe tips and advice you can share with these upcoming entrepreneurs that want to start a business.
Okay, so when people ask me what should I do if I'm going to go start I want to own my own business, the very first thing that I share is go sell something. Why do I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he's like, his advice is to go get a job just to get some experience and things like that. But I specifically request that people go get a job where they actually sell something, because why? In sales you get rejected. And rejected is necessary to succeed in business, because you have to learn how to get a tough skin. No matter what, you can keep going day and day. So Mohammed, prior to coming back to Kuwait, he worked for Volkswagen. So he was a car salesman, used car salesman. And I was insurance sales in the US, and that's what I did. And that taught me a lot about how to sit down with somebody across the table, how to handle challenges and things like that. So that's the first thing that I would do. And the second thing is, nothing's going to be perfect. If you're going to wait for the lights to be green from here to, let's say, Salmiya before I turn my ignition, nothing will happen. You have to start, and you kind of figure it out on the way. And sometimes if you're prepared and you're working on yourself like you do, you're reading, your opportunities will come. Example for that? Over the last, just right now, I'm getting more and more involved in caffeine. The last 2 years, I kind of like just on the strategy side. Mohammed and my family, my sister, are running the company. Because as we started in caffeine, we got a point of sale that was okay. We just downloaded it and it works. But as soon as we start growing, it didn't do what we want. It didn't do costing. It doesn't have a really good inventory or anything like that. So we did a lot of research to find the proper system, but it was a lot more complicated. It was a lot more, you actually have to know stuff to, and since we had our software company, I said to Mohammed, let's do the customization. We're not gonna require there's a distributor, Wakil, in Dubai. Instead of them flying, let's us do it.
For the point of sale.
For the point of sale. And so as we did it, I was shocked of how good this thing is.
Wow.
And Mohammed's like, let's do this. And I was like, okay, let's. I talked to the partners, like, we got to get into this field. We used to do dental and practice management. So we supplied to the dental offices and things like that, software. And so we went, me and one of our other partners, Hamid Al-Jiran, we went to the US. We got their training. And during the training, we were teaching them things about the point of sale because we learned it from the using it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So to customize and things like that. And then we started doing that, and we don't even do dental anymore. And now we're just booming in that. So that's a business that started from Caffeine.
Wow!
And it's for the last 2 years we've been just crazy busy, still till today. And I didn't want to have conflict of interest because a lot of our customers are cafes and restaurants and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, man, you said so many amazing points. I love how you said just start and plan later. And you don't expect all the traffic to be green when you're driving. I mean,
I think it's important to plan, but it's more important to have a person that has the desire, that will not give up, that will keep going. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you have plans but you have people that are not really into it. So when I knew Mohammed is going to be, he's like really passionate about it. I would call him, are you into Seinfeld?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so there's an episode about the soup Nazi.
Okay.
This is the coffee Nazi right here, my brother. I'm serious. I was talking to a friend who is a client also in they buy coffee from us, and they also, we supply them to the point of sale. And he's calling me about coffee. And I'm like, dude, I don't know that detail about coffee. I know how to taste it. I know, but you should talk to him. I was like, no, I'm scared of Mohammed. You know, he's very strict but he's very quality oriented, and he's very, I'm serious. He's a lot looser now, so he's getting, but he's dedicated to have top quality when it comes to serving to our clients. No matter what our competitors do, no matter if they just give people sugary milk, we're going to continue doing really good coffee. Every time it's going to be a great cup, good quality, good ingredients. Yeah.
And great experience.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so I feel like you guys are like the yin and yang, the dance. One person is somewhat a perfectionist. The other person is like, let's do it now and then we'll figure it out. So how is it working with family? A lot of businesses in Kuwait want to start working with brothers, sisters. So can you guys just share with us, how was it?
Well, with Ali it was, and Anwar later, it was challenging at first, but we had an agreement from day one. It's never personal. Any decision we bring, any argument we have, it's always for the best of the business. And Ali really understood that. We really kind of got that. So we'd go into a room, we'd fight, we'd argue over a small detail, and we'll come out and we'll go have lunch. It's not personal, it's just really for the business. So that taking any personal kind of motive or putting قبل ما تخلي شيء شخصي تخلي يأثر البزنس, that will kill it.
Yeah.
So thank God we didn't have that kind of a bridge between us. And later we decided, okay, Ali, you focus on that POS because that's booming right now, and let me just focus on. So we set the kind of roles and responsibilities, and that made things a lot smoother.
Nice.
So he wouldn't interfere, I wouldn't interfere. We'll give suggestions and we'll respect each other's suggestions, but just to have things set straight from the beginning, very clear, that will have you avoid a lot of problems down the line.
And I want to add to that. It's not easy, especially at the beginning. But as Mohammed said, whatever is important for the business, that's the most important. That's the goal. but we fought like crazy.
Yeah.
A lot. And I remember after my trip to London, I went 2 days, took 2 extra days. I went to Morocco with a cousin of mine, and then I kept going, Mohammed flipped out, you were taking, we want to, and it was like, January, December, like right after Christmas or something like that, around that time. And we don't have a menu, we don't have equipment, we don't have staff, we don't have anything, we don't have a rukhsa. A lot of stuff is not...
and Ali wanted to go to Morocco.
And Mohammed wants to open on like January 25th. It's his birthday. And I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen. There's a lot of stuff we have to do before, like, and that was in 2 weeks. Like, dude, at least it's going to be 2 months before we open. And we fought, and I was in his car, and I just left. I took a cab.
Wow.
But it's important, if you're going to make something work, is you have to throw your ego away, as hard as that is, and think, okay, what's best for the company? And sometimes it's actually good to step away.
That's a big one, guys.
Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's good to step away, and then sometimes you're too into. But once we started doing, like I started focusing on our team on the point of sale, and Mohammed was working on caffeine. It got a lot easier too, but also we started working in synergy, because a lot of our customers are
aligning with each other.
They're aligning with each other. So a lot of like restaurants, they need coffee, and I would refer them to Mohammed. I don't even know the pricing of our B2B.
Wow. It's amazing how you guys literally, it does, these two businesses. I mean, the point of sale was born from this business that you first started, and then they're just playing with each other now. So it's important to be clear on each one's tasks and being flexible. Is that something you guys, because I see you guys are very flexible in your business. I think that's something that a lot of business owners should incorporate more, is just because we get so attached to our babies that sometimes it's best to let it go. Some businesses are struggling, and they feel that it's their baby, and it's impossible for them to let it go. No matter how bad it's going, no matter how much, they need to be flexible, and they need to make some changes.
The important thing is I was talking about the ego. If you know that you're wrong, it's okay. Just apologize, or I'm not right at this time. You do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And sometimes there are certain things that it just doesn't make sense to argue about. So, okay, this way or this way, they're both okay, good, okay, whichever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like just being decisive instead of just not making a decision and just leaving this lingering.
Yeah, and it's important, especially if you have family, they have one person who's going to be running. So there's not arguments about decision. We will agree, we'll discuss, we'll give suggestions. But with caffeine, I'll give it to Mohammed. He's doing it.
And that came from learning. It didn't happen from the first day, right? I mean, Mohammed maybe...
Actually, it did. It happened.
Did, yeah?
It happened. This is what... right when we opened Caffeine, I think it was right when it starts booming. Mm-hmm. So it's a year later or 9 months later. Right when we did that, in our software, we landed our first deal. And we got a check for 20,000 KD.
Wow.
This is not the point of sale. This is still dental and practice management.
This was actually, that's before we opened.
No, this was that was in 2015.
But we signed, I remember we signed in December. And then we had, going from not knowing what we're going to do, nothing was working, to, hey, now we have two businesses, the software.
So we got one of the biggest dental clinics in Kuwait, and we got a check for 20,000. And get this, NBK is really difficult of getting bank accounts to businesses and things like that. Yeah. We didn't have a freaking bank account, and they wrote us a check to our bank, and I don't have a bank account.
Oh my! Like a business bank account?
Yeah, I don't have it. I have a check for 20K, and that was my deposit for my bank account or my software company. Did you know that?
It's good they didn't ask you for your business bank account. We'll transfer the money. No, it's fine. Just write me a check. Although it's a software company, I remember, imagine asking a payment gateway company to pay you cash, so it's kind of against those things. But yeah, man, I love this story. I love this story. Man, this was an amazing episode. There was so much juice, so much value. I love this story, honestly. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing it. I want to end this episode with asking each one of you guys a question. I want to ask you two different questions. Ali, I want to ask you one thing. What's the coolest thing you've ever done in your life?
Wow, that's a lot. The funnest things, I would say, I kite surfing, traveling, going to the Olympics. There's a lot. I don't know. Yeah.
Going to the Olympics, kite surfing.
But
This dude did something once. He was thrown in a desert for maybe, I don't know how long, and he wasn't alone, completely alone, and he didn't have anyone to talk to, and he had to just be there to reflect, to meditate, to work on himself. To me, that was like a huge highlight. You know, I can't believe he didn't even mention that when I asked him, like, one of the coolest things. But this dude has an amazing story, and you know, sometimes we tend to forget these peaks that happen in our lives, you know, so that's why I like
so actually about that story, I was 2 days camping by myself, and the whole idea was to come up with a vision of your life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and you have to do each one separately. And a vision is not a goal. It's not something that you're going to revisit and like look at your goal every time. It's something that you kind of plant the seeds and you're supposed to forget about it. And so last year I had a talk, and this is like now 5 years since I did that thing. And so I opened my vision. And I don't know if I told you this, Mohammed, but in the vision was like we're going to have a cafe where intellectuals meet and discussions will happen and things like that. This was like a long time ago.
Wow. Cool. Yeah. I didn't know about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing you've ever done, Mo?
Coolest thing I've ever done. I mean, we've done, I remember particularly a kite surfing trip in Sri Lanka. And we did 3 or 4 days in an island where nobody lived. It was just us sleeping in bunks, and there was no bathrooms, no restaurants, no nothing.
Wow.
No connection.
Wow.
Just completely disconnected. Just kite surfing every day, and
that makes you such.
We're going kite surfing actually in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Sri Lanka again?
No, we're going to Philippines.
You guys went to the Philippines like last year, right?
Yeah.
I love that trip. I was stalking you guys on Instagram. It was amazing. I want to go to the Philippines, Bali, and Sri Lanka. I want to plan something nice. I'm going to have to ask you guys before I go for sure.
Sure.
One last question before we leave. Guys, describe caffeine in one word. Each of you guys can have a word.
I'd say passion.
I was going to say the same thing. Okay, let me choose another word. Unique.
Unique.
Yeah.
Unique and passion. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed it. Until next time, if you guys have anything you'd like to say, how can they find you? Caffeine, where is Caffeine? The locations, just there's a camera.
So Caffeine is in, we have 2 branches, Somos and Barkia. You can check our website, caffeine.com.kw, and our Instagram, Caffeine Kuwait, spelled out.
Amazing.
يعطيكم العافية. We'll see you at Caffeine.
It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. I'm ready for a good time, and I came to groove. The whole band's here and we came to move. Got a fresh haircut and 2 new shoes. We're here all night like we got nothing to lose. I'm coming out the jacket cause we're turning up the heat. I wanna see you clapping when you get up out your seat. It's time to make it happen when we hit these streets. I'm coming in hot and I can't BB. Watch out now. Baby, watch out now. Watch out. I'm on the move, I'm going up. I'm a man on a mission with no missions, and I'm looking for love. Oh, I'm just looking for love. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good, and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good, baby. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Last call for some alcohol. And don't forget to tip. The sun went down, but we still rolling. The band's still going, playing all ahead. I can't stop now, too legit to quit. I'm coming out the jacket, cause we're turning up the heat. I wanna see you clapping when you get up out your seat. It's time to make it happen when we hit these streets. I'm coming in hot and I can't be beat. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out. I'm on the move, I'm going up. I'm a man on a mission with no missions, and I'm looking for love. Oh, I'm just looking for love. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Hey baby, I feel real good, and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good, baby. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now.